What's going on, Fire Nation? It's your boy Rico, along my little big cousin G Baby, and our boy Raul, the Zookeeper. And we are the Friendly Fire Podcast, the hottest podcast on either side of the Mississippi. Episode 72, the year my father was born, 1972.
Shout out 72. Shout out 96 Bulls. Let's get it.
72 and 10. Yeah, yes sir, yes sir. How y'all doing today, fellas? Wellness check.
Doing pretty good. Rested, off of work, ready to get this pod cracking.
Yes sir. Zoo, talk to me.
I'm also good. I'm gonna school today and yesterday. I go back. All right.
How you liking it? I mean, overall.
Pretty chill. Like we got through the holidays, which is the tough part. You make it through that. They're like you make it.
Yeah. Mispronouncing all type of names.
Look, Shaniqua, we don't have your ticket on the scale. All right. You're going to have to go to the back of the line like everybody.
We're not flying to Zimbabwe.
Flying to Georgia, jackass, same place, same thing.
Marcus, calm down. Get your girl.
Oh, man. I'm sorry, Tom. Is this abrasive Negro bothering you?
T'Challa, chill out.
My Captain America is blonde haired and blue eyed. I don't know about yours.
I mean, Falcon's just as good, you know.
Oh,
man. Dark for my taste.
Oh, that's so stupid. But we have a pretty lighthearted episode. Before I get into my question of the day, we as the Friendly Fire Podcast are super thankful that Damar Hamlin is still with us today. It's crazy because normally when you say stuff like this, it's like, oh, it was a scary hit. It's like, no, this was a standard football play. His body just shut down. He went into cardiac arrest right after the hit. And they said it took 9 minutes to resuscitate him, 9 minutes worth of CPR to resuscitate him. He's still in the hospital as of today, but he is awake. He is tweeting, he is posting. So we're just glad that that man is alive. And it puts another, everybody, especially nowadays, has been talking about the dangers of football and all of that type of stuff. I don't know if this directly falls under that or if he had maybe underlying issues or if it is directly related to the hit that he took. So it's just it was scary because when I first saw the post, I'm like, what is everybody talking about? They was like, yeah, the game's been shut down and everybody's just standing around praying. I'm like, I don't know what's going on, but I'm very glad that he made it through because that was scary to read about.
Because it was real touch and go. I thought he was gonna be out of there, not trying to make any jokes, but it didn't look good at all.
Yeah.
And especially
because I mean, I went to sleep because I had work.
Well, our fourth official member.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. The podcast. Happy belated birthday to everybody's favorite husky, Blue. I'm sorry.
It's my boy, Blue.
My boy, Blue.
Oh.
He's like, I know y'all not having conversation without me. This dialogue I hear. You don't play that.
Zoo out there laying the law down.
You know you don't get more than 3 words without me. What are you doing? That man go outside. He ain't put Zoo out the house.
Bro, it's because I'm the only one home.
So
like literally any little thing we get excited. Hopefully, I put them outside. Hopefully, you can't hear them from outside.
What did you think of that whole thing, Zoo?
No, I had gone to sleep because I worked the next day, even though I needed that game because selfishly my fantasy team it was in the championship game, and the guy I was playing with, he had Josh Allen and Higgins.
Shout
and
out.
I had McPherson, the kicker, and I was up 20 at that point.
Mm-hmm.
So it was basically looking bad for me. I was like, damn, I'm probably gonna lose. But then I woke up and I saw that I won because I got my notification, blah, blah. And I was like, yo, no way, I won. Like, how bad did they do? And I looked, and each player only had 2 points. And I was like, did they sit them? Like, what happened? And I texted the dude because he had messaged me, and I was like, yo, what happened? Like, how did I didn't even win because I know I know he just took the L. I thought I was gonna lose, and then he's like, "Oh no, blah blah blah!" Like dude almost died. That's when I like looked on the all socials, and then basically the next day, so a couple of days later, like, so what do we do? We just wait it out or what? And they were like, and we just decided to split the money in half. Which I mean, I was cool because I was probably gonna lose.
Zoo jumped in the air after Mike hit that shot.
Oh man. But no, I'm very happy that he's okay. And Zoo talking about how scripted today's game was between the Bills and the Patriots. The first play of the game, they run back a kickoff.
Yeah.
Then I think one of the first plays of the second half, they run back a kickoff. It's like
they didn't know none of the angles.
They forgot how to tackle. I ain't seen that since Madden.
I'm talking about they jogging, he jogging. I'm like, damn, y'all not even gonna jump at the man, make it look believable.
They treated it like a drill. We ain't really trying to hurt nobody.
It's for the kids, y'all. It's for the kids. Oh no, but yeah, that's crazy. I don't know. Sports do seem so scripted nowadays, but we can get into that a little later.
Yeah. But to my question of the day, continuing with entertainment somewhat, I have a question in regards to the state of movies right now, specifically the comedy genre. I was on TikTok, I want to say early last week, and I saw a gentleman. He was kind of ranting about the state of comedy, how he kind of felt that comedy in a sense was dead. 2022 was kind of a weaker point for comedy, a lot of people can admit. And he was saying basically it all comes down to, you know, the new age of what's acceptable to be said and what can't be said, and how he feels that has negatively impacted comedy and has negatively impacted the types of movies that are coming out, whether it's stand-ups, whether it is like ensemble casts, so on and so forth. Then he started reaching back, talking about, oh, well, a movie like Rush Hour wouldn't be made now. A movie like Friday wouldn't be made now. Harold and Kumar, it was racist jokes flying left and right, and nobody was offended, yada, yada, yada. And I kind of wanted to get you guys' opinion before I gave mine on one, what do you think the state of comedy is? And how much do you attest, or I guess how much do you assign kind of like the state of society today to the weaker point that comedy has been? Because I honestly think 2021 was a decent year, but 2022 admittedly was a weaker year for comedy, and like horror really took off. Like horror has never really been that much more prominent than comedy. And horror, it was like Marvel, and then horror was like just like that's all you was really getting, really. So I wanted to see, and biopics and whatnot. So I wanted to see what you guys' opinion, like I said, one on the state of comedic movies is, and what do you guys kind of assign that to? Whoever wants to go first.
Zoo, you can kick this one off.
I mean, so basically, comedy has been in like a little weird limbo where everything has to be, you know, not completely PC, because we see like obviously some comedians like push the line a little bit. Obviously like the most notorious one is like Andrew Schultz and stuff. But there's a couple other ones I've been following on TikTok who's like they've been pushing the ball a little bit more, like back to the old school type. So I mean, there's still this element of you could still be offensive. You just can't. Like, it could be offensive, but the joke has to hit. You know, it can't just be like, I'm just saying racist shit just to say racist shit, or say like kind of racist shit, kind of racist shit. Like there has to be like, it has to be a smart, like, community. It can't just be just, oh, like the punchline is just like no. If I just happen to be gay and like I might imitate how he sounds, or I might make a gay joke, but the overall thing is something we could all relate to. You know? And so it's one of those, and there's still like, you know, you still see clips like on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok go viral of like people who get offended and they start yelling at the comedian, blah, blah, blah. I feel like for the most part, people who go to comedy shows know it's like, yo, like I'm here, like it's no holds barred, it's a comedy show, like anything goes. So I feel like most of the time it's just that one outlier who gets offended and then might take it to Twitter. But when in person, when that outlier gets offended, they're on their own. Everyone else is like starts bullying them or like like starts laughing at them
because you
than
ruin in the moment. Yeah.
And then and the only place where they find solace is basically social media, where they could find a bunch of other offended individuals. But in person, it seems to be less of that. Because, you know, with social media, especially in 2020, when everything was just social media and we stopped the whole in-person thing, it seemed like it was over for comedy. Because, like, if you go on Twitter, if you go on Instagram, if you go on Facebook, whatever, it's like everybody's offended. So it's like, damn, we can't do this anymore. But when you go out to the real world, it's like, oh, the people who are offended are at home, or they're not even showing up, obviously, to these because they know they're going to be offended.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not as prominent.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think it is just like comedy is really in a bad place because you have those comedians that do toe the line, that they're either towing the line in like a smart, sophisticated kind of way where they're, you know, making you think about the joke, or just outright saying bogus stuff just to say bogus stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I was a big supporter of that. Oh, we are too sensitive nowadays. We're too sensitive nowadays. And I don't think it's that. I think people have always been really very, very sensitive, because even Eddie Murphy was getting a lot of
flack back in the 80s. Yeah.
But it's just not, it's the social media aspect, like Zoo was saying. It's Eddie Murphy did. It was probably 100 million people that felt bad about what Eddie Murphy had to say, but we weren't hearing 100 million people's voices.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's like with comedy, it should be a no holds barred thing, because I'm putting myself out here. You know, when somebody throws on that dress, or somebody does this and does this, that, or says that, it's in the name of comedy. Mm-hmm. They may not hate Mexican people, but have a 10-minute session bashing Mexican people. It's just what it is. Like, it's routine, and you go and you feel a kind of way, and you have every right to go on social media to voice your opinion. But at the end of the day, this is art. So it's like, why don't we have this same thing for like the offense to like the Mona Lisa? Like, oh, how is this the most beautiful picture and it's of a white woman? Oh, I'm offended. We should take it down. We should. Nobody has that, but it's art, because it's art. It's how they wanted it to be painted. It's one of so when I hear a Chris Rock stand up, a Cat Williams, Mike Epps, and they're talking about Jewish people, or they're talking about these people, or they talk about these people, that's their expression. Like, how are you going to cancel? You want somebody to listen to your opinion about how, well, you weren't asked.
Good old Siri.
It's like you want to get your opinion heard to discredit or devalue somebody else's opinion, but that's just their opinion on the state of the world and social issues, and that's how they're conveying it. Like, you can listen to it and feel the kind of way, but when you actively try to shut somebody's art down, then it's like, what are we even doing comedy for? And especially in movies, and like we said, the 90s show we'll talk about later, it's like you have to fit this exact norm of comedy. You have to fit in these guidelines, or, oh, we're not going to publish your stuff. So we end up with whack stuff, or stuff that's just kind of mid. You know, shows like Martin and the Fresh Prince. Like, how the Fresh Prince wouldn't get aired? I mean,
I don't think so.
I mean, all the fat jokes. Will had a fat joke.
Will had a
like every 10 seconds.
Will did have a fat joke every episode for sure.
Like at least two. So it's like you had all these other jokes. You had all these white people jokes. Martin was dressing up in whiteface. You know, it was all types of, and it's like it wouldn't fly, but it wasn't like anybody took offense to it.
Because that's what was okay back then.
It was okay back then.
You know what? Yeah, you raise a good point. My opinion on it, I partially think it's somewhat of a lazy take, simply because I personally believe that a person who is funny can always be funny. You feel me? I feel like an expert of his or her craft adapts to whatever. I did a video on it, and I said 60 years ago, if you can make a left-handed layup, you was the greatest basketball player of all time. Now we got 13-year-olds who can pull up from half without even thinking about it. You feel me? You adapt with the times. You become great with the times. That's why players like a Mike and players like LeBron and players like whoever else you want to name will always be good no matter what era they in, because they're going to adapt to whatever works. So when people complain and say, oh, well, comedy is in such a weak point because you can't say everybody's so soft, everybody's so offended. I will admit, you know me, I'm very careful with, I try to be careful with the words I say, but I will admit that there is a somewhat of a hindrance in what people have been allowed to say and how it's being affected in people's artwork. But at the same time, if you're an expert of your craft, if you are a comedic writer, you can write these jokes, whether it's in a movie, whether it's in a stand-up, to where yes, somebody gonna get offended at something, but at the same time, you'll still be able to get your point across. I feel like if you have to offend somebody to be funny, you're not as funny as you think you are. It is like you'll get a chuckle, you'll get a laugh, whatever you did say. Yeah, it was funny to somebody, but if that's your only way to get across, I have to offend this specific group of people. I have to say this joke, this slur, this. How funny are you really, personally? And I feel like more comedic actors, like, yeah, you can say, okay, Friday wouldn't be able to be made today, or whatever. I'm not.
Yep, he froze up on us. To Rico's point, I do agree with to what he's saying. But what I would just add is because like a lot of those jokes that are being made are still relevant. Like, not trying to bash anybody, but like Eddie Murphy's like gay jokes back then. It's like, oh, gay people are mad irritating. Like today, gay people are still mad irritating. So it's still like, how much am I going to change that joke if it's still relevant? Black people still get treated like this, and Hispanics still get treated like this. It's just as relevant as it was in the 80s as it was now in the 2000s. So, I mean, it is something with comedy that you do have to kind of get with the time and just like, I don't know, you have to advance your comedy, you have to advance your writing to maybe get these offensive jokes off without offending or coming off in an offensive, harsh way.
Mm-hmm. And I think you guys will, like, I told you guys I'm watching that, like, Boy Meets World, and like the main three characters, they're watching it and they have a podcast about it.
Yeah.
So one of their main issues, obviously in the 90s, there was always that huge 90s trope where like the nerd just gets bullied for being a nerd, for being smart.
Right.
And that's like one of their main issues, because they're like, we're bullying nerd like every single episode just because he's smart. Like that's literally the only reason, because he gets good grades. And it's like, so now it's like, looking back, it's like, especially with the mental
shut
health
me down,
stuff,
man. I don't know what happened.
Yeah, carry it.
I hopefully everything kept recording. I appreciate y'all holding it down. I didn't mean to interrupt you. But before they shut me down again, all I'm gonna say is I personally believe that if you are a master craft, you should be able to adapt. So the excuse that keep writing because of this hindrance or this hindrance, I don't know if you're as good as you think you are, if that's always going to be your go-to excuse. There are things that you can't say nowadays for whatever reason. And honestly, if you want to try to push the bit, because my thing is, if everybody's complaining that society is so soft and this, that, and the third, then write what you want to write. Write those jokes and see what happens. If you have enough people saying that society is too soft or whatever, then get your jokes out there and see what happens. If it happens negatively, then hey, you know. If it goes great, then that helps open the door and let more and more jokes of that caliber back in. But if you're really good at your job, you should be able to make it work.
Yeah. So I was just telling you, baby, about you know how I told you guys I watch Boy Meets World, and they have the main characters have that podcast, the way they watch it. Yeah. One of their main gripes is that in the first season, there's like this nerd character that they just bully for being a nerd, like literally every episode, and that's one of their issues with it, because they're like, now looking back, mental health, bullying, and like suicide and stuff. It's like we literally would just bully this kid on like TV every week for laughs, because you get the laugh track, you get the laugh audience, because it was a 90s trope. If you're smart, you're a nerd, you wear glasses, you're getting bullied,
which is so crazy looking back onto it.
Like, yeah, because now it's if you bully the nerd, it's like a dramatic, serious event in any TV show. But back then, it was like, ha 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 ha, we're throwing spitballs at him, and it's like the funniest thing on earth. And then same thing with like, because they started the season 2, and like I'll watch the episode like a week, so like I could go with them, basically. Like, oh, they're gonna review this episode. And as soon as I saw the episode, I was like, oh, they're gonna have an issue with this. There was like a couple gay jokes where maybe one of the characters was gay, and I knew they were gonna have an issue with it. And yeah, lo and behold, they did it. And they're like, why are we making like we're just making fun of him because he's not even like outwardly gay or like one of those outlandish, I guess you could say, where it's like, oh, you can tell. Yeah, it's like it was like you wouldn't have been able to tell if they didn't even just make the joke. And it was like one of those issues. And like we could segue, I guess, into that 70s show, that 90s show thing, where we talk like, oh, where they would be able to make like jokes anymore because like it's woke. I've been rewatching that 70s show, just prepping myself for the new one. In season 1, there's that episode where Eric
kisses that dude.
The gay guy kisses him, and then he's like, whoa, like I don't have a problem with it, but I'm not gay. Like, so just like next time, just don't start making out with me. Like, give me a heads up. And that's the joke, but it's not like the joke isn't that he's gay. The joke is like, yo, he kissed me because he thought I was gay. And then in the same season, that first season, there's one where they have to trade. They're going to a concert and their car breaks down. They have to trade in a couple tickets to the mechanic. And the mechanic, this tough guy, blah, blah, blah. But his date to the concert ends up being another guy. But Fez is like, hey, the mechanic's date is a guy, and all the whole cast is like, oh, I don't have a problem with it. That's fine. Like, and it's supposed to be set in the 70s, and it was made in the 90s. That's the first season. So you could start being like, oh, maybe like this new season won't be like super woke, I guess you could say, because in the 90s, when they made this episode for the 70s, it was already like that. And I guess we just forget of like, I guess now because it's so pushed on people, you just automatically assume everything as quote unquote woke. Or social justice warrior. But like even back then, they were doing the same things, and it was just like normal. They would just slip it in like normal. It wasn't like up in your face. It was just like a subtle thing they would throw in there.
You know what's funny? I remember like kind of like the turn cinema wise when like I don't want to say everything was woke, but when they really started trying to like appease everybody, but they focused on like one specific thing. So like, for example, I remember back in, I want to say about 2010, there was a Cheerios commercial that had a black husband, white wife, and a biracial daughter. And that raised like hell. Like they was like, for whatever reason, folks was like, why are we trying to force this, that, and the third? And then there was a bunch of people that was also like, this is dope. This is forward. Like there are millions of interracial couples out in the world. And then, every commercial you see nowadays is an interracial couple. And even now in movies, TV, whatnot, like it's very rarely like a black woman is just happy with a black man, or it's always one is with the other, which is whatever. But when you have, because when you have to address it in the show, that's when it becomes, okay, just let it be what it is. This is just a couple that happens to be interracial. Yes, there are going to be cultural differences naturally, because I mean, I'm going through it myself. You just learn and you talk about it. But like when the whole like premise of the whole thing, a black man comes into this white neighborhood and takes down their daughter, and this is the show about how they like, nobody wants to see that. Nobody wants to hear a Malcolm X speech every episode about you have this white woman or vice versa, having to date this white man. And at the same time, we don't want the white man or the white woman having to be the white savior in this relationship. I understand my place of privilege in America, so I'm gonna do everything I can. It's like, okay, have your 1 or 2 racism episodes to deal with and address it, because everybody needs it, but it doesn't need to be, in my opinion, a consistent thing, because at that point, why are y'all together? If we gotta have this conversation every other week, we clear something not working. Do you feel me? Like
it's like that, like how Blackish was, where it was kind of like every single episode is like my people was brought on slave ship, and that's why I got to spend all my money on Jordans, and this is why I got to do this. And it's like, I get it, and I'm not just throwing hate, because it was like the Fresh Prince was like that too. Like that first season, it was kind of like, I
watched that first episode. It was super woke. Like Uncle Phil was a preacher. Like I watched the man speak.
It was like, I get that. It was like, okay, we setting the message, what it is. But then it's like the Aunt Viv when she was a teacher. Oh, you just because I'm your aunt and I'm not gonna teach the black and black. I'm like, all right, like this is supposed to be a funny show. Like don't Malcolm X us to death. Even the basketball episode, I'm a poor black single father, and basketball is my way to get out the hood.
Wish I would let a nigga cross me up because of his son. His son gonna
come on, G Money.
His son about to get his mother defense. I'm just forget it. Your daddy needs to be better.
I gotta call Wesley. Like, nah, but it's just, I don't know. And they do it with everybody, and they just don't subtly do it. And they just throw it in your face. Like, even like it's this cartoon, The Loud House, that my nephew watches. And it's like a kid, he's got like 9 sisters, but he's got a black friend and he has 2 dads. And it's like, okay, I get it. Don't hate on that. But this show is about the kids. Like, why, like, if you're not giving the parents episodes, why does that even need to be a thing? You see what I'm saying? Like, you're forcing, oh, he's a black friend with 2 gay dads, you know, so it's like, I get the message behind it, but rarely in them cartoons did we ever see
the parents.
Somebody like the parents. Like, they used to just cut the top of their heads off. You just see legs. Like, that was about it. Now you're getting whole stories and this, that, and other, and it's like you're pushing it. It's like you pushing the interracial thing, you're pushing this, which is fine. But like we had our superhero conversation. Like, if that's not gonna be the main thing.
Thank you. I don't care about none of it as long as it pertains to the plot. Like, don't just insert it in there just to be like, okay, we reached our gay quota for the week. It's like, this has nothing to do with the plot. Like, this doesn't help the main character. You aren't gonna make them a main character. You just popping on, hey, we like gay people. All right, you can go. How does that help them? How does like, you feel me? Like, how does this push forward? Like, you have the token black character who's always funny or always over sexualized. So that anytime he or she comes in, they're talking about sex, they're being stereotypical, this, that, and the third. So what do they add to the show? Yeah, what are they adding to the show? Add something to the show. That's all I be asking. It's like, because I've seen people say, oh, well, y'all don't never have a problem with the sex scenes, but y'all always have. I'm like, no, I don't care about it. No sex scenes add nothing to the show. You can always
Power. Power's a perfect example.
You can always just insinuate that they having sex. The sex scenes don't add nothing to the plot. You can have them kids fall on the bed and then fade to black. But no, we got to show the whole thing out.
Add it to the plot.
Shut up.
You insinuated, but it was like the last 2 seasons of Power. It was like 20 minutes of sex every episode.
It was like, what are we gaining? We're not gaining nothing from this, bro. I want to see the cocaine get shipped. He got issues going on. His daughter is dead. What are we talking about right now? Like, none of this.
He lost the love of his life, Tasha.
Come on, Tasha. Like, none of this helps. That's what the biggest issue is, that none of it helped. So it's kind of like, if all of it, and I don't like using the word force, but it is to a sense, because it's like, this doesn't help with, like you said, in the case of Power, getting the cocaine move. This doesn't help with the day-to-day struggles of whatever the main character is going through. It's a plot
device to move the plot. Like, oh, they're a thing. They're in a relationship now. He's cheating on her, but that shouldn't be the main focus of the episode. It was like that with Empire. It was going strong, and then it started being, I got a gay son. Oh, I got a gay son. Oh, I got, like, what does this have to do with the music Empire? Like, that's like, what are we doing here?
So it's one of those things where, like, if it's gonna be in there, cool. But my thing is, I would feel personally as a black person watching certain shows or certain episodes that, like, I don't want my race or who I'm dating or married to just be something to just push it along. Unless it's in a comedy. For comedic purposes, it can be funny. Like when it's just like, I remember what show, it was some spoof. They were spoofing sports movies, and the coach's daughter was dating a black guy. And so, like, that was the joke every time he popped up. It was like, you can't say nothing to him because he's black. Black is the night sky. And that's just funny. Like, that's cool. But it's like, if this is supposed to be a drama or whatever else, and it's just, oh yeah, this is my black wife, Angela. It's like, well, what is Angela applying to, if she's just here to show how non-woke you are or something, it don't need to be there. You feel me?
Perfect example is Abbott Elementary. What's the white teacher's name? The dude,
Jake. I think
Jake, whatever his name, he's gay on that show.
Yeah.
But they said it like he was, oh, I got a boyfriend. And Janine was like, oh, I didn't know.
Left
I
it
wish
alone.
you would introduce me. And that was the episode. I was like, you don't tell me enough about your personal life. And I thought we were supposed to be cool.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't, oh, I didn't know you was gay.
Mm-hmm.
It was, I didn't know you had a significant other. And they don't bring it up anymore. He casually comes up on the show. You guys remember, but they don't introduce him. Oh, this is my boyfriend. This is my boyfriend. You just automatically know who it is. Mm-hmm. You keep it pushing. You know he's gay, but that's not a focal point of that show. The show is about the school. It's about the kids.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a good way of writing that in there.
Yeah. Because I think what ends up happening is that when you use those whatever minority, whether it's interracial, homosexual, whatever, when you use those as like push pieces where it's just like, hey, we're inclusive, people can see through that.
Right.
But if it's just, hey, this is an interracial relationship, but it's just a relationship, like you can see with your eyes it's an interracial relationship. Right. It doesn't have to get brought up within the plot unless like early on, like, oh, by the way, her father just happened to be a secret KKK member. Okay, well, that's a part of the plot now. That's something that we can use to move forward. But if it's just, oh, this is my girlfriend, she happens to be insert other race here, that's end all be all. You can just chalk it up and it be let go. Because in real life, like I bring my wife around my family, it's not, oh, this is Xavier's Mexican wife, Bianca. It's no, this is his wife, Bianca. She just so happens to be Mexican, and it don't get brought up. It's not, oh, so you've been like early on, they obviously asked, like, is he learning Spanish, this, that, and the third, where's your family? Like just trying to get a little
general knowledge question.
General knowledge, but it's not every single time she come around the family. So how my son's Spanish going? Like nobody cares about that. You feel me? Like it doesn't bring
throwing a sombrero on.
like they're not trying to hola como esta. No, right. You talk to her. She's a human being. So it's what'd you say? No. They know better. Only thing they ask for on consistency is some tamales because it's up the street from my house. So that like it's one of those things where it's like, because in real life it's not forced or it's not consistently brought up. Art needs to imitate that. Matter of fact, this episode is called Art Imitates Life. Art needs to imitate the fact that it's 1,000,001 interracial couples out there, and it's not always brought up within conversation. So it doesn't need to always be that push point to show, hey, we're inclusive.
Right. Like, look at my black friend.
Just be inclusive. Just be inclusive. And you also got to think, another funny thing about television, really television, when they tried to push this equality and everything like that, now it's everybody got a racially diverse group of best friends. It's like, bro, like when you look at brochures for college, like I went away to college, I've been to junior college, I went away again. You're not just always hanging out with your super racially diverse group of friends, bro. The most racially diverse group of friends when we was all working together. Because that was pretty much it. But you're not just walking just in the meadows with your, like, come on, bro.
Hey,
like,
you never seen Indians and black folks just hanging out.
It don't really happen that often. Like I have some Indian homies, but it's just like, bro, like I'm cool with it because everybody, I'm cool with anybody making their money, any actors or whatever making their money. But it's just like there's certain shows where it's just a black cast, and I'm like, cool, that's dope. It's shows where it's just a white cast, cool, that's dope. But when it's like just all white cast and that one black character, or like they'll sprinkle in like the Indian guy here and there, it's like I would rather y'all just do an all white cast than get these token characters.
Right.
Because it's just like, I mean, I ain't never gonna get mad at nobody making their money. Make your money, black man, make your money. But it's just like,
I would much rather put that all white friend group, like that 70s show, or like, oh, It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. And it just be like, this is our core. This is our friends. And if we add people, fine. If we don't, fine. But don't try to force you've been running for 15 years with this cast. Now you want to add 2 new black people. Like
where did they? Like, they just moved next door.
Like one prime example is I'd mentioned the show It's Always Sunny because I'm watching it again. That they have a character that when they first introduce him, he's like super straight, muscular. Oh, I'm super homophobic, this, that, and the other. And as the show progresses, he starts becoming gay or like curious. Okay. Like he starts making little gestures and he's just like, oh no, it's this, it's not that, it's just I'm over masculine. And then it's like one point in the season, he's like, he comes out and everybody's like, well, no shit, we knew that. We knew that from like the second season. Like we knew you was gay. He's like, what do you mean you knew? It's like everybody knew but you. Like everybody knew you was gay. And it doesn't change the story because for all these seasons leading up, the viewers looking at this guy, oh, he's gay. Like there's no way he's not gay. So when he finally comes out, it's just like we don't have to change our opinion on his character because he's been gay for the last 7 seasons. He just ain't came out and said it. You know what I'm saying?
He was in a glass closet.
Yeah. It is like it's real interesting because it doesn't change anything. It just continues. Like he doesn't get more gay. He doesn't try to change. It's just, oh, this is the same character we've been knowing for the last 8 years. So they do a great job of that. Just inclusion. Just if you're gonna do it, like just like you said, don't force it. Imitate life. If you see a group of Black people on 63rd, I highly doubt there's a Chinese dude amongst that friend. I just highly doubt it. That just might be me and my thing, but I don't think it's too many of them hanging around over there.
Yeah. Because I feel like, it's I guess it's a little tough because you are writing a plot point. So it's like something like The Office works because it's like, okay, you're gonna get a bunch of different personalities coming to work. Like we're just working. Something like Abbott Elementary, same people type of stuff works because you get a bunch of different personalities in public school. You get the white people that's coming up because they think they can change. You get the Black folks from that neighborhood going there to work and whatnot. So something like that makes sense. It's like it's easy to understand that, but when it is just the all white, and then it's just like season 3, they just introduced this new one Black character, and it's just kind of like, okay, like cool, like
when they made Hyde's dad Black, and then he had a Black sister.
It's like,
like Tom, you do this 8 seasons in.
It's like, okay, who complained and made y'all have to do this? Or was it something like for comedic purposes or whatnot? Like, I feel like if it's done right, then cool. Like if it's a comedy, like, and it's like a like one of those comedies that'll be on like a streaming, so it's like it allows cursing and stuff like that. And so like that's one of the jokes. Is like, yeah, this is the one Black guy in the whole friend group. Then okay, cool. But like when you just try to like just introduce it and it's not, if it don't feel genuine, like I said, people can sniff that a mile away. So that's all. I feel like that's all I ask out of cinema in general is to properly imitate life. If you're basing a show off of a specific area, specific hood, specific neighborhood, whatever, and it's like, all right, bro, how many racially diverse groups are really going to be from this area? Like, just honestly, like you can find a way to sprinkle the different people in there, but just look at the demographic. Is it really going to be that much diversity in these friend groups? Probably not, and that's okay. You can still write a good comedy or a good show.
It's a lot of great shows that ain't got people in.
No diversity.
Like Full House, amazing show.
I actually really like Full House. I really like Full House. And
that
it's
is
like,
a great show.
I'm not expecting them to just insert. I'm not just expecting just a random Black neighbor to pop up. They didn't try to force it. Family Matters, same thing.
Pulling up.
You said what?
Pulling up.
They would see, like they played around and they was like, oh, this is so-and-so's best friend's cousin. So insert Black person. Her best friend happened to be Black. But it was only for like an episode. That's when Steve Urkel popped up and stuff like that. But like Family Matters, it was like, this is a Black family in a Black neighborhood. So why would we just have just a random white best friend? It wouldn't make sense. It doesn't add up.
Like, oh, you're adding a gay Ninja Turtle. Why? That's you're missing the whole purpose.
Doesn't even do nothing for the plot.
He's a turtle.
He's a turtle.
Like it should. We've gone way off course here, but
yeah, but no, I'm just happy that stuff is. I'm glad that people are starting to. Obviously, I'm glad inclusion. I just want it to seem genuine. That's all I ask for. It's just come out genuine. Don't one, don't force it, and then two, don't make it seem like you're expecting a reward for it. If it's just like, hey guys, we introduced, and we've talked about it before, how they be trying to get like it all, they try to knock it all out with one character. Yeah, we got a gay black character from the hood. It's like, yeah, and they're like, it's like, all right, bro, like this, you didn't even try to iron this character out. They ain't got no depth besides being both black, gay, and crippled or something else going on. So
and that's
it's
all
like,
they got points.
Yeah, and that's all it is. And it's like, nah, bro, like if you're gonna do that, give him or her some depth. Give us a reason to want to see them, because if they're just here to get the token out the way, it's like you could have kept them. Personally, I would rather just see the all white cast if we're gonna do that. So, but we're gonna move on from entertainment real quick to a point in the news that Zoo brought up. Where's the article? I can find it real quick from the Shade Room. See if I can find this real quick. Somebody doesn't properly understand how reparations work. So a California beach that had been taken from black owners during the Jim Crow era, before being returned to their descendants last year, is going to be sold back to Los Angeles County for upwards of $20 million. On Tuesday, county officials confirmed that family members of the original landowners, Willa and Charles Bruce, have informed the county of their decision to sell Bruce's beach, according to CNN. However, it's still unclear how the sale will be completed. The seizure of Bruce's beach nearly a century ago was an injustice inflicted upon not just Willa and Charles Bruce, but generations of their descendants who almost certainly would have been millionaires. Los Angeles County Board of Supervisors, and then there's more going on. So, as I just read, Jim Crow era, they took what was rightfully Willa and Charles Bruce's beach, and they gave it back afterwards, and now the descendants are selling it back for 20 mil, or maybe a little bit more than 20 mil. What y'all think? What you think?
Feel like they took it and gave it back, so why would you give it back?
You feel me?
Like for 20 million, like how much? Like it's California. I'm getting a bill. You want a beach in California? I'm getting a bill. Nah. And you took it from right.
You took it from my great granddaddy. You took it.
I had two, and a dinner with Jay-Z.
Zoo, what you think, man?
Yeah, they sold. They got played. I mean, and the picture that they posted, it's like 10 of them. So if everybody gets like $2 million after taxes, that's $1 million. After they blow it all in a year.
That's not even a year in California. You can't live in California.
No, they definitely got to move to Wyoming or something after the sale is done.
Like you could have had a beach. You could have had beachfront property.
The only thing I could think of is them not wanting like the upkeep. They don't want to deal with like whatever. But it's like, I guess because maybe they don't know how to make money off of the beach. You feel me? Maybe they don't know, like it's just easy. But I'm saying, I definitely think they undersold it. I'm shooting for the moon, and you can maybe talk me down to the stars. Maybe.
I'm shooting for the black hole. You gonna talk to the sun. That's just how I'm gonna do.
But yeah, because I personally think that if like you said, this was taken. Like this wasn't even like, this wasn't something like, oh, they just undersold Willa and Charles Bruce. No, they took it from Willa and Charles Bruce. 20 mil is the beginning. That's the beginning talking stages. I don't know who their lawyer was, but we talked about power. Proctor wouldn't have let it go for that little.
No, Proctor would have got the whole state.
Man. I don't know. I personally think there are certain things that you want to be able to pass down, through your family and whatnot. But if they maybe just didn't want to have to, like I said, deal with the upkeep, maybe they didn't know how to make money off of it. Like, I don't know how to run a beach either, but I feel like I could YouTube some stuff, or at the very least get more money than 20, because 20 mil, like you said, amongst 10 people or however many.
Just after taxes, everybody getting 600, maybe.
I feel like, I hope it's more. I don't know how the family is broken down in this picture. Maybe it's like just maybe it's like 2 households because I see
Right,
5
I mean,
people.
however it's
I
broken
see
down.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 people in this picture. One of them, I don't know if she's the one it's a white woman. I don't know if she's the one that's selling them to him or what. But I just personally feel like you can definitely make money off of it. The game was like you supposed to put like a black-owned 5-star hotel on
Oh
the beach or
man.
something. He
Oh
ain't.
man.
Is he wrong though? You
I
feel me?
mean,
It's the game. I get it. It's the
right
game.
message, wrong messenger, nigga. Why don't you put a 5-star mid-star hotel over there? You talking about Eminem?
I seen some people say they could have leased it to the city and would establish because basically that's passive income.
Yeah.
Now they got to pay you every single time they want to have an event on that beach.
Right.
I don't know.
There was a lot that could have been done.
And that's Wax how to invest.
I don't know. One person said they read a little bit deeper that there was nothing that they could legally do with the land due to zoning restrictions and designations. The best bet for them was to sell it back, which is fine. If that's your best bet, cool. But like I said, like G Baby said, we shooting for that black hole, and we'll sell it. We're gonna sell it for the sun. me.
Shenanigans because the city is about to build like the whole amusement park on that.
Oh yeah,
they're gonna put all type of apartments.
There's gonna be a Ferris wheel, a retirement home.
They're gonna make that up in 2 months. They're gonna get 10 million a month.
They're gonna sell part of it to LeBron just to make sure he stay. Like it's I don't know. It's one of those things where like it's easy to say. Like I said, I don't know what they had going on behind the scenes, but 20 mil. That's starting conversations.
But this not even one of those like, oh, I seen the money and had to jump at it situation. Like they giving you money, like off rip. If they giving you 20, off rip, you know you can get 80. You know you can get 80. If they giving you 20, like why just take the 20? You don't never take the first offer.
I hope that wasn't the first offer. I really hope that wasn't the first.
If that was the first offer and they jumped on it, then y'all just both. Y'all don't know how to work with it.
More power to them, I guess. I don't know. But yeah, so I like I said, I'm definitely coming out 9-figure individual. I'm gonna do my best. We're gonna try. We are going to try. Is there anything that's been happening that you guys want to discuss, newsworthy or otherwise?
Bunny fucking phones.
You said what?
Bad Bunny fucking phones.
Oh yeah, Bad Bunny has been throwing phones. You want to speak on that? Hey, try not to make sure you don't cover the bottom of your phone because we want to make sure we hear you. What's been going on with Mr. Bad Bunny, and people's telephonos?
Yeah, so he's been I think he's getting tired of the pain. Or just tired of being bothered, I guess. I don't know. Earlier, a Facebook clip came out. He was in the Dominican Republic. He was walking, as everyone does. And, he got sworn by some people. And he was taking pics with people. And then, I don't know, I guess he just got irritated. Straw that broke the camel's back. He took away the girl's phone and he chucked it into the river, ocean, lake, whatever that was. Because they were on the bridge and he chucked it over the bridge. And that was that. And then, like, later, a couple of days later, he was at another, like, event. Same thing in the Dominican. And he was just taking away people's phones. Like, people had their phone out, he would walk up to them and snatch it away and, like, doing with the phone. And
yeah.
It's funny because, like, I laugh because obviously, like, as hearts may believe, I am stand for a certain individual.
Yeah.
But I see, like,
I would never think you to be the stand type. A stand is crazy.
News to me.
But I see his stand like on the same ones that were to kill any other artist for doing this, defending him. Like, oh, he just wants his privacy. I've been seeing people use he's trying to live in the moment. He's trying to get us to live in the moment. So you should appreciate that. Blah blah blah. Excuse, and like everyone's just throwing out excuses for him. And I mean, I get it, because obviously I do it for a certain individual. But it is funny kind of seeing it because they're scrambling. Like every day there's a new video of him like harassing somebody with their phone, and like, they're just basically making up excuses for this man. But like to you, Rico, I guess you're the most famous one out of here. Obviously, like obviously I see like when people start up taking pictures is cool because you only get asked for one pic a day, one pic every other week, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But when you get to like I guess his level, where you start getting swarmed everywhere you go, or like a Justin Bieber level, we saw Justin Bieber get killed.
He was going, nah, Justin, I ain't gonna hold you. He was going through it. Shorty was outside his house and he came, he's like, bro, my wife and my family is here. Like, and then he was like, you need to calm down. And then as he's walking, can I get a hug? No, you cannot. What is wrong with you?
Bieber called me a nigger. Hug.
I'm sorry, continue.
Oh no, I was
like, question. I guess.
Me personally, it's easy to say now because I'm not where I want to be at. But I personally think as long as they're not offensive, it's like a interesting mix because it's kind of similar to what like Eminem was saying early on. He was like, I'm thankful for like every fan I got, but y'all coming up to me while I'm trying to feed my daughter, who's like 4 or 5 at the time. Like, that's crazy. Like, to be like shoving and you gotta think this was before cell phones, so they shoving pens and papers in his face,
cameras in your face.
Yeah, so like I can see it. If I get to like that level of stardom, I know for a fact I would probably burn out because I'm more or less a homebody now anyway. So like if I'm out and about, they took something to get me out there, whether it's money, whether it's my wife wanting to go somewhere, my family wanting to do something. There's a reason I'm out. I'm not just out to be out. So if I'm already out and I'm knowing, okay, there's a chance that I'm gonna get, swarmed or whatever, you do what you can, you take your initial ones. But shoot, everybody battery run out eventually. I just feel like them 2 people, they called Bad Bunny at the end of his battery. He was like, bro, I'm done. Like, it's just, so if you try to, I think as a star, if you're like active on social media or you're active wherever else and you set boundaries and let people know, like, hey guys, I love my fans, I love this, that, and the third. But if you see me out with insert name, if I'm out with my mama, I'm our grandmother, don't swarm us. I don't need my grandmother being swarmed by 30 people. You feel me? I don't need my child being sworn around. Like, you feel me? Like, have some respect of my privacy. Now, I know obviously as a fan, you think, oh, I may never see him or her again. It is what it is. You feel me? Like, I don't think, because I've never been, and I'm a big fan of a lot of people, but I don't think I've ever been to the point where like I can't see myself being okay swarming somebody's personal space.
Right.
Because a lot of times these stars aren't alone where they're out. They're out with security. They're out with friends and family. Some of them, like I said, be out with their kids. That's like, all right, now this has got to be a line where y'all recognize this is going too far. So a long-winded answer, but to answer your question, at a certain point, I definitely think I would be like tired out. Like I feel like I would take all the initial pictures I could, but like if I start seeing a mob forming, it's like, yep, exit stage left. We got to get up out of here because this is too much. Got to keep it moving. Like I love and respect everybody who decided to come out and see me. But if I'm not already doing a meet and greet, like if I'm not at North Riverside Mall doing the meet and greets, this is what I signed up for. If I'm out at North Riverside getting a pretzel from Auntie Anne's, I don't need the whole mall following me. Like, that's when we go. That's when it's too far. I think that's when it becomes too much.
Because when they get to the point where they're like Bad Bunny snatching people's phones out their hand, and like, yeah, it's for play, but then it's like, that's gonna get like, all right, I gave y'all this warning. Mm-hmm. Now what's next? Is he gonna start like pushing people?
He's gonna start swinging, yeah.
Right. And then it's like you said, people's social battery runs out. Mm-hmm. Lord knows if he snatched the phone out my hand, this whole arm getting ripped out the socket, I'm getting paid.
That's another thing too.
You see what I'm saying?
You don't want nobody taking advantage of that. Because if say for whatever reason they really get up on them, so habitually you push somebody out the way. If they soccer and find a way to toss himself over the bridge into the water, Bad Bunny pushed his fan into water. That's all the tabloids gonna say. Never mind the fact that he sold it and ran across the street to jump over the bridge to get into the water.
Got hit with a stunner.
Oh no! So it's one of those things where, like, from the star's perspective, you also got to be careful. Like, you got to make sure that you're protecting yourself and your environment. But if you get too defensive, Now it's he hates his fans. He's a terrible person. Oh, he assaulted this old lady who just wanted a picture for her granddaughter. It becomes way more than it needs to be.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, it's like how Michael Jackson was. Like that man couldn't go nowhere. He started dressing up like costumes and stuff.
Yeah.
And it's like when you get to that point, then it's like, man, I don't even want to go outside.
Mm-hmm.
If I got to sit through 3 hours worth of makeup in costume just to go get some milk.
Yeah,
like,
that's crazy.
I don't want to do that.
Yeah, so I guess it all depends, and it also I think depends on like you said where you're at. Like if you live in these ritzy neighborhoods in like LA or whatever, seeing LeBron out isn't anomaly. Like if you go to Bronny's Sierra Canyon games, it's celebrities all throughout the gym.
Right.
And it's rich people all throughout the gym. Like all of these people, a lot of these kids all got rich parents or whatever that they're just going, watching my son play, watching my nephew play, this, that, and the third. So it's not a rarity as much, but it's still rare. Like if we see DeMar DeRozan just randomly on Kedzie, like what the heck is you doing over here? Like so it's like that's gonna draw attention. And a lot of these people don't come from places where they learn how to deal with fame or learn how to deal with big crowds of people. Some of these rappers, these actors, these athletes, they're from the hood.
You swarming me like
they're from a place where you got to have your head on a swivel. Right. So if now I'm getting swarmed, all right, bro, wait, hold on, chill, because then it escalates into something else. And then the moment G Herbo puts his hands on somebody to like stiff arm them away from his son, they don't see the fact that he's shielding his son with the other hand. They see the fact that this abrasive Negro put his hand out on this fan, and now it becomes
gang member assault.
Yeah, it becomes a whole thing that it shouldn't have become. So I'm not surprised. Bad Bunny like, hey.
No, I'm getting tired of it.
I'm getting tired of it. So hopefully he doesn't have to pull a Michael Jackson and like completely change his look every time he wants to go get some tostones or something, but who knows?
Pizza rolls and getting harassed. Hate to see it.
Man, he gonna become the spokesperson for Uber Eats. I can't go out like I want to.
They gonna charge him $2,000 a meal.
And you better get 5 stars too. But man, fame is crazy. But if there's nothing, is there anything else that's been going on?
We could briefly talk about El Chapo, his son.
Oh, yeah, baby Chapo was on the run.
Death went down to Mexico.
They had everybody named Mama chasing that boy. Everybody.
They had aircrafts, bro. They were shooting missiles at people and all type of stuff.
It's like a Fast and Furious trailer.
They had the AC-130. I'm like, damn, this the cartel?
They wanted this boy bad. They and realistically, how long y'all think until he get out?
Probably
because if he ain't like his daddy, he ain't gonna be the a whole lot.
If they lock them both up, they breaking them out. Like they're not gonna have both of them in.
Because the first time they caught him, his son, they had him out in a couple days, but they didn't even get him out the city, like where they caught him. This time they already have him in Mexico City, so they already transported him there. But if they bring the problems to like Mexico City, they're gonna hand him right back.
Yeah, because it's like this is our tourist land. Like, hey, y'all tripping. You can't have a war zone out here.
Is where they're at right now, where it's like there are people stuck, but the people that are stuck is that since they talk to people like we can't come back to the US, blah blah blah. Well, those are people who are visiting their family there. You know, it's not people who are just on tourist vacations to Cancun and stuff. It's like I'm here because I have family. This is the only reason I'm in this city. Because it's not really a touristy city. But like I said, once they have them in Mexico City, and if something does happen where they start going crazy in Mexico City, then yeah, they're gonna have them back. Because I mean, there's already like last time I went, there's already like heavy military in Mexico City. Just
I was gonna ask, is that like the most secure in Mexico? If you had to guess,
I would say more like Cancun, like the really touristy spots, like where the whites go. Because Mexico City still, there are white people that visit there and stuff, but it's more of a still like just Mexican people.
Mm-hmm.
So, with the majority, so yeah, the Cancun, Puerto Vallarta, places like that are really protected. Those are the places going on. Basically, other Americans, like, sorry, that's not the same places. It's So if it starts spilling over to areas like that, then yeah, they're just gonna hand it back.
Yeah.
They make it to Mexico City, they might take the country. I ain't even gonna lie. Yeah, I mean, we might as well. We right here. Like, we right here.
Ain't that the capital too?
Yeah.
Man.
we take this. Who else? Cancun. That's what the whites said. They not finna fight.
You don't worry about no Cancun. Y'all better call Guadalajara. That's your only hope.
They gonna be like, help. USA
nope.
gonna be like, nope.
Nope.
No, that ain't our problem.
Yeah, one time we mind our business as a country. We ain't got nothing for that over there. Shoot, we get half our cocaine from El Chapo. We ain't got nothing against them.
They hit up the Russian arms dealer.
Man,
real
what?
The bombs, the flying cars.
The invisible missiles. We need all of that.
Rocket cars. We need all types of
every
shit.
single thing. You know how many Netflix specials we done made on Chapo? We need him out now.
let that boy hit a prison, like a prison still. That joint, they finna airlift him out.
That hell gonna be, man.
Gonna be a GTA mission.
Whole time. We're gonna blow up this wall on the northwest corridor. We're gonna lead them through the underground basement that they don't know about. It's not even on this. It's not even on the blueprints.
Yeah, the Suburbans with the turrets out the top. I'm like, damn, that ain't the sports model.
man, that's gonna be nuts. But that's crazy. They really wanted that boy bad. But I'm very curious to see how long he's there till he breaks out. That should be an interesting piece of news. But we thank y'all for tuning in to yet another exhilarating installment of the Friendly Fire podcast. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, make sure you hit us up at friendly_fire on IG and Friendly Fire on TikTok. Once again, friendly_fire on IG and Friendly Fire on TikTok. Artists, send your artwork, your MP3s, your music, whatever, to friendlyfire2021@gmail.com. Once again, friendlyfire2021@gmail.com. You can send your artwork and music. If it's artwork and we like it, it goes on that big blue beautiful wall behind G Baby. If it's music and we like it goes at the end of our podcast. As simple as that. Considering it is the new year, my New Year's resolution for this podcast is to get more aggressive and to start making bigger strides as a team, as a unit. We're going to start doing interviews for sure. I have a couple people lined up that I just kind of got to like touch base with them. And we're gonna definitely try to make some serious strides, get way more consistent. We're a little inconsistent last year. A lot of stuff was going on.
A lot of things was up in the air.
A lot of stuff was up in there, but we are back. We are better, and we are looking forward to giving y'all the show of. So we thank y'all for tuning in. On behalf of my boys, I am Rico, G Baby, Zoo, Friendly Fire. Be blessed.
Peace.